What's up everybody? My name is Light and welcome to a brand new video where we're going to be building a winery and a vineyard. Let's jump right into it and begin building this project. The first thing I did was use World Edit to begin terraforming the land. I cleared up the trees, flattened out this grassy area, and I began editing the slope of the land. In case you missed my last episode, we built Breeze Peak Castle, which is the giant wooden castle sitting on the mountaintop across the horizon. I'm really happy with how that build came out, so be sure to go watch it in case you missed it. I brought the path down to circle around this landmass, and then rise up onto the hill that I'm going to continue terraforming later. But first, I wanted to go ahead and begin testing out ideas for how the trellises and the vines were going to look for the vineyard. I used dark oak fences to map out where the trellises are going to lay on the land. And once all of those were in place, I went through with dark oak leaves to begin creating the massive vineyard pretty much all over this entire land, encircling the winery that we'll begin building soon. I also went through and I added paths using coarse dirt, rooted dirt, and packed mud to provide access to each row of the vines. Once I was happy with how that was looking, I went through and I used World Edit to copy and paste some custom trees that I had created in previous videos. Once I had the trellises and the vines in place, I went back through all of the vines and I added tall grass and ferns, as well as sweet berries to add some variation and color within the vines. And after that, I decided I wanted to increase the height of this hill to add some height variation to this area and to allow the winery that I'm about to begin building to kind of sit above all of the vineyards and provide a good full 360-degree view from the winery to the surrounding vineyards. Once I was happy with the shape of the hill, I began to plan out the design for the winery. I used different colored wool to plan out different sections of the build. One of the things I wanted to include in the winery was this open gateway, so that the path from the vineyard could travel up to and through the winery, allowing quick access into and straight through the winery. For the foundation of the winery, I used a mixture of stone, tuff, and stone brick, as well as cobbled deep slate. I also tested out using a mixture of mangrove and crimson wood for the roof. I did this because I wanted the winery to really feel like a warm, inviting location and to really catch your eye as you're walking through the vineyard, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I kept on editing the winery to get it to my liking, and I even tested out using stained glass for the windows. I used a combination of pink glass and orange glass, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. Colored stained glass is not something that I usually use. I usually stick with neutral colors like white or black, but for this build, I think it fits really well. And since I used that white bone meal for the top doors, I think it's very necessary to have that colored stained glass, just to add a bit more vibrancy into the build. And finally, with the winery complete and detailed to my liking, I began decorating the interior. I don't have much replay footage for that, but I'll show you guys the interior of the building at the end of the video. So stay tuned to check that out. With the building completed, I expanded the vineyard to travel up the hill of the winery, encircle it, and then continue onto the other side of the building. Finally, I came back up to this hill where we have some empty land, and I began building this custom tree. I wanted this tree to appear large and old, like it had been here for a long time. I wanted it to kind of rise up off of this hill and look like it was almost reaching over towards the sea, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I used oak wood and oak leaves mostly, and then I came back in later to add a mixture of azalea and flowering azalea leaves on top. The bright color of the azalea leaves on top and then the darker color of the oak leaves on the bottom creates this illusion that the light is hitting the top of the tree and casting these dark shadows on the oak leaves. I also added a bench under the tree, built a custom light post next to the bench and in other areas of the vineyard to provide some light to the area. And with those in place, I wanted to continue fleshing out the area by adding some ferns, tall grass, more of those light posts, and finally I came down to the shore and I extended the path to give us a little area with some extra benches to sit down here at the coast. This is definitely a smaller build than what I usually do, but I'm so happy with how it came out. I think areas like this can really flesh out your Minecraft world. It is so fun to travel and walk through, and it is really cool to walk up this hill and look across the ocean to see our village that we built in previous episodes, as well as Breeze Peak Castle sitting on top of the mountain. And if you didn't know already, you can download this world and explore everything in it for yourself. You can access the world download by supporting me on Patreon, which you'll find in the description of this video. Go support me on Patreon and you'll have access to not only this world download, but all of my other worlds. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next video.